Fuck yeah! Fuck!
I closed a deal to produce a comedy show. Then I booked a famous comedian to be on it.
I don't know.
It didn't go as well as I expected.
I'm stressing out more than I should.
Don't stress out. How are you making your money from this?
It's starting to seem like I made a very bad deal.
I saw your email. What's the deal?
Yeah, he just decided to pull out.
So,
That's pathetic. To be honest, like you should have never done that.
Let me show you behind the scenes of how it all went down.
hello, you sent me over like a inquiry about doing a comedian show?
Correct, yes.
This is John. He owns a restaurant and is interested in booking a comedy show.
I say $15 a head.
Would be my cut.
Your room fits 50 people?
I would say 40 comfortable.
40 times 15 equals 600, which is how much I could expect to make if we sold out. And John, he seemed confident.
I could probably sell out my room, so I'm not worried about that.
I'm so excited, I relive parts of the conversation in my head.
The comedian's all book will be...
I don't forget to celebrate either.
Yeah! Fuck yeah! Fuck!
All I had to do was make this show successful. One of my friends gave me an idea.
Being able to get a bigger name on your showcase is just such a huge triumph for so many reasons. Just teaches you so much. But also when you're trying to promote these local shows, it is so hard to get people in seats.
I want a big name.
This famous comedian was actually on a virtual show that I did, and he was so funny and nice. And I thought, hey, I wonder if I could book this guy. And I went to his website, and it turns out it's actually pretty easy. It says right on his website, willing to do all your weird shows, like put me in a funeral home, your grandma's birthday party.
I was a fan of this person too. I decided I was going to book this guy. But before I could do that, I had to address an issue I'd been ignoring that has the potential of ruining my whole plan.
Follow up with me in about a day or two. We'll go over some dates, see where it fits in our calendar.
Is there a specific time to call you? Like, do you...
Just not in the morning.
So I followed up.
We got tied up with another project. I haven't looked at our dates yet. Just give me a call back on Tuesday. We'll get to it this weekend.
I called him back on Tuesday.
I got my three managers here. Let me go over with them. I used to look at make sure our back date is clear. I'll give you a call back later on tonight.
He did not, so I called him back a few days later.
You're gonna have to give me a call later on today. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm actually on the line tonight cooking.
This went on for a while.
Just give me a little call back around 9:30, 10.
Okay, no problem.
I had a podcast scheduled for that time, but I wasn't going to miss either. So in the middle of the podcast,
You shouldn't do this for money. It's not a thing to
Yeah.
do for money.
Can I make a call real quick?
Yeah, sure.
You don't even need to hang up. I'll just
Okay, sure.
call right here. Okay, it's done. Pick up again. Okay.
Okay.
This show is gonna be very profitable, so I really want it.
I tried again 30 minutes later, still in the middle of the podcast.
One second. Let me just call one last time.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, we're done for the night.
He didn't answer a second time either. This went on for over a month and a half. But eventually, my perseverance paid off and I got a date for the show.
Fuck yeah!
Now, I could book that famous comedian.
Good afternoon. Would be interested in doing a dinner show for 40 people in historical New Jersey on October 14th? Dinner starts at 6 p.m. and the show starts at 7 p.m. It pays $500 and a meal. Let me know what you think. Thank you, James McAliney.
I offered him almost all the money I was expected to earn. But this wasn't about the money. This was about the glory. His agent had responded.
I don't know. I've just been so excited about it. There's so many unknowns that I'm afraid of. Maybe there's another COVID shutdown. Maybe he can't do it for some reason. Maybe someone messes up and the word gets out and then he has to cancel.
The famous comedian was in. I started fantasizing about doing a YouTube video titled, I Did a Comedy Show with And the thumbnail would be a selfie with my arm around the famous comedian, pointing at them, both of us making that goofy face, the kind that people make in all YouTube thumbnails, as if to say, look at me, aren't I special? He had a few conditions. Firstly, he wanted a seat for 5 of his friends. Not a big deal. Secondly, we couldn't put his name or face on any of the promotional material. He had a theater show coming up in the area, and contractually, he was prohibited from selling tickets within a certain radius, and we were in that radius. Usually, the way you sell tickets to shows like this is to put the famous person on the poster on the flyers and sell it that way. But I wasn't worried, because as the owner said,
I could probably sell out my room, so I'm not worried about that.
the owner had asked me.
Any like famous comedians or not really?
I had said no, but now I could say yes, and I did.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
He was really excited. I was really excited. I hyped him up hard, too. I said he was on HBO, Netflix, Comedy Central, NBC, which was all true, but I really sold it hard. I wanted to seem like a big shot. The owner asked me to mock up a poster. He wanted to see what it would look like without the famous comedian's name on it. This is what I came up with. Not thinking much of it, I sent it out to the owner and the comedian's agent for approval. Almost a week goes by with no response, and I'm getting a little nervous. Then, an email appears in my inbox. It was difficult to read. I felt the failure and disappointment wash over me. For some reason, it felt personal, like I was the one who fucked this up. I didn't tell the owner that he canceled. I wanted to fix this. I needed to book someone else famous. That would solve the problem, and I wouldn't feel like a failure. Up until this point, I was really excited about having a famous comedian on the show. I admired him. I loved his work. Now, I didn't care who the next comedian was, as long as they were famous. I started texting anyone who I thought knew anything about booking famous comedians. I made a list of all the famous comedians I thought there was a possibility they would do my show, and I reached out to them any way I could. The first comedian I reached out to was via DMs on Instagram. They responded and were interested, just not available. I reached out to 2 more people through their representation's website. Their agents actually left me voicemails. I was just too afraid to return their calls. I reached out to another comedian who was doing all the same venues as the original famous comedian, but he asked for $2,000 plus a hotel plus $200 for his opening act, well above the $600 I had to spend. I was getting desperate. The lowest I fell was emailing a comedian that went to the same high school as me and using it like, oh my gosh, look how much we have in common, come do my show. Lucky for me, he politely declined. I told my friend Marc what I was doing, and immediately he recognized something wasn't right, so he set up a call with me.
I'm stressing out more than I should.
Don't stress out. Don't stress out.
Okay.
I understand the genesis of this is where like you just want to kind of like build this portfolio of people that you open for.
Right.
I honestly say like in the long run, none of that matters.
Yeah, you're right.
He had been in a very similar situation as me.
We tried to do this at Blue Mountain. We were throwing money around, so we ended up settling for.
An even less famous comedian than mine.
We lost our shirt in it, and like it's not like called me up.
I could lose money. I hadn't even considered that.
How are you making your money from this?
Ticket sales. So it's like a dinner show. So
Okay.
40 seats, $55 tickets. I get 15 of each of those.
So if you fill every single seat, the most amount of money that you'll make is $600.
Right. Yeah. And the owner told me this, but I don't know if I believe him. He's like, yeah, I'm pretty sure I can sell it out.
I'm starting to doubt the owner can sell this out, primarily because of a recent discovery I made.
Have they ever had a comedy show there before?
They had like a show back before COVID, but it got canceled because of lack of ticket sales.
An important red flag I ignored.
Let's say dinner's going to cost them $30.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, $25. Like,
Right.
It still doesn't make sense like that, and that they're like giving you 15. They're hedging their bets and hoping like at the very least they only sell 5 tickets. Like they didn't lose money, you lost money.
It's starting to seem like I made a very bad deal.
I wouldn't mind losing some money, but like for other people, like I definitely am not losing money for other people.
Understand, dude. This show sells out and negotiate the $15. That's pathetic. To be honest, like, he should have never done that. He was like, you know, like $15 on a $55 ticket. You should have gotten 25 for that.
Okay, it's for food too, they said.
I know, but not for drinks, dude. Their food's probably like spaghetti.
I bring up my biggest fear.
So what should I tell the owner about, like, well, he
Tell
canceled?
the owner, don't worry about it. You got it covered. It's okay. We're gonna have a show there for you. I'm looking at some big names in Jersey again, dude. He doesn't know who is.
Just saw your email. What's the deal?
Yeah, he just decided to pull out.
So, is there anything we could? How far is his mile radius?
I read him the email from the comedian's agent.
Hey James, after speaking with Chris's teams, we think it's a better idea to politely decline for now. We don't want to ruffle feathers with folks hosting the shows that are currently on sale and under radius clause. Hope you understand. Thanks.
I was gonna say, do we know what the radius is?
No.
You don't want to push the envelope.
I don't want to push the envelope. I mean, they're familiar with all the details and stuff like that.
All right. What's our solution? Is there anyone else that you can get that's a little bit big?
I didn't reach out to too many people just because it didn't make sense to like do this when you can put on like a good show with a more local comedian. It didn't make sense to spend like a lot of money on a first show like this to me.
What's some of the money line?
Some people were quoting like 2,000. I bet you can get people for cheaper than that, but I didn't like, that's just too far away. I wasn't gonna like negotiate.
All right, thank you.
Okay, no problem. Okay, bye.
The stress causes me to relive parts of the conversation again in my head.
Just didn't make sense to spend that kind of money. It didn't make sense to spend that kind of money for like a first time show. Yeah,
For me, all the fun was drained out of this show. Comedy sucked for a little while. I went through the motions of booking local comedians, creating promotional material, providing it to the venue. If the show was gonna happen, I was gonna be ready. A week before the show, I emailed the owner. He informs me we've sold 2 tickets.
I mean, I could probably sell out my room, so I'm not worried about that.
We decide to cancel the show. Not every opportunity is the right one.
I just got off the phone with the owner of a venue that currently has several shows on the calendar with famous comedians on them, and they want me to produce comedy shows on the months where they don't have those shows. He said if it goes well, we could possibly collaborate. He'd put me on some of those shows. He seemed to know everyone. Like, he dropped a lot of famous names. He says he's hung out with a lot of famous people and keeps in contact with some of them, including the owner of the venue, who is from a famous rock band. It seems like a really great opportunity for me to meet and work with famous comedians.
Hi, thank you for the opportunity to work with you, but I don't think I'm the right fit. Regards, James McAliney.